This is Amazing Bets UFC Denver full breakdown and prediction video. To start things off, we have an absolute banger between Montel Jackson and Blackshear. Montel Jackson is known for his huge glove size, and he's dropped 6 of his last 6 opponents. His only 2 losses are against wrestlers that had 8+ and 5+ minutes of control against him. However, last fight, he was a -600 favorite versus Ronnie Yaya, and I thought Ronnie almost got one of those takedowns, which is not a good look. Also, while he's dropped 6 out of his 6 last opponents, he only finished 2 of them. Moving over to Blackshear, I have to first point out how tough his strength of schedule has been, and many of these fights have been short notice. Last fight, he was a +180 dog versus Bautista, who's out of Sugar Sean's gym, and 7 days prior to that, he won a fight via Twister. In round 1 with Bautista, he landed 4 out of 5 takedowns. I think the short notice of this fight favors Blackshear a lot. I think he wins by a little on the feet, but he's going to absolutely dominate on the ground, and Blackshear by finish is probably one of the best bets out there. Next up, we have a tough one between Joshua Van and Charles Energy Johnson. Joshua Van is one of the youngest, kind of great prospects on the roster, and is known for actually losing his first round and finishing the second and third with an insane pace, volume, and aggression, especially with his body shots. However, after watching tape, he can definitely blindly walk into strong strikes and takedowns as he aggressively pursues his opponent, no matter what. Charles Johnson also likes to come forward, and last matchup versus Hadley, we kind of got to see how he did versus somebody that also comes forward. He actually really excelled in that matchup, but when he was not the aggressor and have room to style and kick Hadley, I didn't think he looked that amazing. I think this is a hard call because if Energy wrestles or really just relentlessly comes forward, I think he could take this. However, I don't think he will be able to handle Van's pressure, aggression, or volume if he does not wrestle and get to the ground, and that's why I'm going with Van by decision. Next up, we have Josh Fremd versus Andre Petroski, and this is not the best fight in my opinion. Josh Fremd is a super tall dude, and his last fight, he stood with Kopylov for a full round because he kind of couldn't land any takedowns, and he survived and landed quite a few punches, but absolutely nothing fazed Kopylov. And then he got KO'd with a body punch in round 2. The fight before that, he kind of gassed himself versus Pickett as a -310 fave, which doesn't look that good to me. Moving over to Andre Petroski, last he was a +200 dog versus Malkoun, and he switches stances and lands some leg kicks. He almost got dropped by a jab in round 1, but then he came back and almost dropped Malkoun, and he got a takedown in round 1. He's got good takedown defense and countering, however somehow knocked himself out on Malkoun's hip. If this fight makes it to a decision, it's probably worth betting the splits. However, I do believe Andre has all of the finishing power here, so maybe worth betting Andre by finish only. However, he could finish himself, like he did last fight. Next up, we got Araujo versus Jasmine Jasudavicius. I honestly thought Jasmine would be an absolute lock till I watched the Vivi tape. Last fight, she was a +280 dog versus Natalia Silva, who I think is one of the best out there, and she relentlessly pursued Natalia, and she made her gun shy. Definitely got beaten up and dropped, but she hopped right back up to pursue again and did her best work in the 3rd round. Fight before, she was a -105 favorite versus Hebas, and she really hurt her in round 1. She's got some great hands, and then got dropped kind of being too aggressive. Jasmine last fight was a +105 dog versus Tracy Cortez, and got pretty beat up in round 1. She never gave up and continued to land takedowns and kicks, and rounds 2 and 3 were absolute wars. Following suit, I think this is going to be another war, and may serve Jasmine as she's younger, training in Colorado, and has more diverse strikes, not just mean hands, and it's probably going to go to a bloody decision. Next, we got Luana Santos versus Mariya Agapova. Luana Santos is crazy young and only has 2 UFC fights. Last, she was a -150 favorite versus Egger, and she has a really strong jab, but does some weird head ducking stuff, and is also a judo expert. She loved the boring clinch, and kind of got tired by round 3. The fight before that, she was a minus 150 fave again versus Juliana Miller. And she ate some absolute bombs at first, but it did not phase her. She didn't even blink. And then she turned it around and KO'd Miller, I think, at the first round. And before this, all of her wins were subs. Mariya Agapova, I kind of forgot who she was, but she's one of the fighters with gauged ears. And last fight in 2022, she was a plus 135 dog versus Julian, who also went for takedowns ASAP. But Agapova got up a bunch and defended 4 takedowns in the first round, and she's got some crazy long arms and some mean hands. This is a dangerous fight to bet on, in my opinion. We don't know what Mariya's been doing for the last 2 years, and we don't know enough about Luana or her, takedown ability, because she hasn't really shown it too much. I'm going to probably be picking Luana by decision or sub, but I hope she doesn't try to stand and bang, and it may be worth sprinkling Agapova as a crazy dog right now. Moving up the list, we have another tough one, but an absolute banger between Drew Dober and Gene Silva. Last fight, Drew Dober lost a decision to Renato Moicano, but he definitely hurt him a few times and showed some decent wrestling. He's known for his insane hands and being unKO'able, except he's been KO'd a few times recently. And Gene Silva was the bet of the week last week. He fought 14 days ago and won a nasty KO versus Air Jordan. And he brings some serious violence with a karate stance and trains with the fighting nerds who are absolutely dominant these days. However, he fought 14 days ago and is moving up a weight class to experience some true power that I've never seen him take. Due to Silva moving up a weight class and not knowing his wrestling ability or his chin, I'm going to have to take Dober here. Next, we have Christian Rodriguez versus Julian Juicy J Erosa. Juicy J is an amazing fighter, and he's an absolute dog too. Last he was a plus 155 dog versus Ramos, and he got hurt bad in round 1. Then he got taken down, had his guard pass. He was pretty much hit with everything Ramos threw at him before he got a ghillie and won in a gorgeous fashion. Before that, he had 2 pretty bad KO losses. Christian Rodriguez's strength of schedule is also extremely impressive. Last fight, he was a plus 160 dog versus Bulgarian, and he got taken down but absolutely never accepted it. So I kind of skipped that fight because crazy wrestler. Fight before that, he was a minus 140 favorite versus Simon. He has some nice step-in knees, spinning back fists, and takedowns. He's a dangerous dude. I have Christian Rodriguez quite locked on my end, and I think he actually could get it done early by KO. Oh god. Next up, we got Cody Brundage versus Abdul Razak Alhassan. Last fight, Cody was a plus 850 dog versus Bo Nickel. And as always, he starts crazy aggressive, and honestly, he did way better than I expected him to. The fight before that, he was a plus 195 dog versus Reese, and he throws hard for sure, and I think he's won every single UFC fight in the first round. Similarly, Alhassan has 11 first-round KOs, and all of his wins are by KO. Last fight, he was a plus 280 dog versus Pfeiffer, and he got taken down ASAP, but he fought back up. He also ate some bombs. And 3 fights ago, he took Buckley to a competitive split decision and showed some cardio in the 3rd round. I think Alhassan has proved his chin against Pfeiffer and cardio against Buckley, and I have him ridiculously locked and could even get a round 1 finish. Next, we got Gabriel Bonfim versus Ange Loosa. Bonfim last fight was a minus 575 versus Nicholas Dalby, and he threw some strong punches and kicks. It was a crazy start. In my eyes, he kind of slowed down after the first 2 minutes, but 3 minutes in got a takedown. Also, Dalby ate some of those punches and kicks and didn't even remotely look phased. He didn't blink. Then round 2, he got a powerful takedown but couldn't hold Dalby down, and at some point just gassed himself and got KO'd. Ange Loosa last fight was a plus 160 dog versus Brian Battle, and he definitely got beaten up but survived. He got mounted and then fought his way back up, and this fight also had a crazy start as well. I think Ange Loosa could have a better or comparable ground game to Dalby, and even though Battle absolutely smashed him, in my opinion, Battle is way better than Gabriel. I think I'm going to choose Gabriel to win, but I'm going to probably be betting Loosa at these prices, and Gabriel is not a safe lock in my opinion. Moving down, we have Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Muslim Salikhov. Last fight, Santiago was a plus 200 dog versus Holland, and he keeps his hands low when he gets in close, and he can get caught for sure. Not the highest volume, but his losses, especially those by split, were to great competition. He got knocked down a few times and then KO'd by Holland, and the fight before that was a minus 170 favorite versus Alex Morano. And in my opinion, he kind of got stung in round 1 and in round 3. He got the KO win, but he was getting hurt by Morano. Muslim last fight was a plus 215 dog versus Randy Brown and did well for a split second before he got KO'd on a 1-2. Before that, he was a minus 190 favorite versus Dalby, and he hurt Dalby a few times in the first round before he got head kick knocked down, but recovered instantly and landed a takedown. To me, this is a tough fight to call because both guys have insanely inconsistent chins. However, I think Muslim could get it done as a sizable dog, especially if he mixes in his wrestling and stays safe. Finally, we got the main event between Rose Namajunas and Tracy Cortez. Last fight, Rose was a minus 225 favorite versus Hebas and did really well, but also it was kind of close and got caught with quite a few punches. Tracy was a minus 125 favorite last time versus Jasmine and landed some heavy, crisp combos. Also show off her chin a little bit. She has a great tie clinch, knees, and is ground specialist. However, ate a left head kick as well, which is what Rose finished Wei Li with. I think the 5-round nature of this and shorter camp for Tracy, because she was originally supposed to fight Miranda Maverick, will favor Rose's experience and didn't give Tracy much time to deal with Rose's crazy footwork. That's why I'm choosing Rose and for this to go to a decision, unless that left head kick lands. Hope everybody enjoyed the breakdowns. Once again, this is Amazing Bets. I post all of my predictions, picks, and bets for free at mamazing_bets on Instagram.